Good evening. I want to welcome you to the Frankfort Area Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum, this time for the 6th Magisterial District. Is that right, guys? Is that what you guys are running for? Okay, we're good. They're going to be in the primary May 22nd, so I encourage all of you to go out and vote. These forums are provided as a public service from the Chamber and have been doing so since 1996 as a way to provide more information so that we can make better decisions with regards to the candidates that represent our interest. I'm Dave Weller. I'm your moderator this evening, and I want to thank all of you for being here, our candidates for being here, and all of our sponsors, the people that make this happen, our Frankfort Area Chamber of Commerce, the Frankfort Plant Board, the Frankfort State Journal, the Capitol Plaza Hotel, and all of the various partners that have allowed this to happen and made it happen this evening. What we're going to do this evening, the format is each of the candidates will have an opportunity for a 1-minute opening statement. Then they'll get questions from our two panelists. Our two panelists over there are Kathy Lindsay, who's the Public Information Coordinator for the Frankfort Plant Board, and Steve Stewart, who is the publisher of the Frankfort State Journal. Thanks to both of you for being here. After the candidates answer their questions, we'll have a 1-minute closing statement. Each of the candidates have a wild card. Somebody hold up a wild card. Gosh, in unison, that's pretty impressive. Anytime during the proceedings, they can add 30 seconds to an answer or to rebut another question, or if it's still available at the end of the time, they can add 30 seconds onto their closing statement. But they can only use the wild card one time. So they have to be strategic in terms of how they utilize that wild card. So why don't we begin with our opening statements? But before we do, I want to make note of the fact that one of our candidates, unfortunately, who's going to be in the primary on May 22nd, Perry Schaus, is not with us. Apparently was intended to be there. In fact, might have even been here a little bit earlier, but had a family emergency similar to what Fred did. So he can't be with us here for the forum itself. So we're going to continue on with the 3 candidates we do have. So we're going to start with the opening statements. We're going to begin left to right. And so our first opening statement, 1 minute, will go to Tyler Grimes.
First off, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and Plant Board for putting this on and everybody coming out. My name is Tyler Grimes. I'm 25 years old. Wife, Brandy. We've been married 5 years. We got 2 kids, Braxton and Harper. I attended Franklin County High School and Franklin County Career and Tech Center. I've been in Frankfort all my life, and I'm the owner and operator of Foggy Creek Farms on Devil's Hollow Road.
Lambert Moore.
My name's Lambert Moore. Born in the 6th District. Went to Bridgeport Elementary, the old school. Went to Frankfort High, Franklin County Vocational School. I'm married to Sheila Moore, and we've got 2 kids, Katie and Austin. I've been the magistrate for since 2003, and would very much appreciate your support and vote.
Thank you. Marshall T. Flynn.
Okay. And I'd also like to thank the Chamber and the Plant Board for putting this on for the community. My name is Marshall Flynn. I'm also a lifelong resident here in Franklin County. My lovely wife Susan and I both have 7 children between us. I attended Frankfort High School. I also went to Western Kentucky University and graduated from there. Currently a licensed realtor and appraiser, which I've been doing for about 20 years. I'm 43 and I've got a deep vested interest in the community, and I've previously served on the Architecture Review Board and the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you, candidates. Kathy, Steve, who's got the first question? Steve,
I'll go.
You do? Okay. Steve, if you would ask your first question and direct it initially to Lambert Moore.
What's an important issue facing our community that nobody's talking about or not talking about enough?
Well, in my district, it's the bridges. We've got several bridges that have been downgraded by the state, and we cannot find the design builds on them. And I've talked to numerous state agencies and state engineers trying to find those, and we've even hired a firm trying to find those, because if they downgrade them any further, we're not going to be able to cross those bridges with buses and fire trucks. It's going to become a major problem, and we won't have any money for anything, because those bridges are a big problem.
Marshall?
Okay. Was that for the community or for the district?
You could respond on either,
well,
but
I'd say on
I
the-
think intended for the community at large.
Yeah, okay, for the community at large, I think it's probably the quality of life and some infrastructure upgrades. I think those are probably our two primary areas. So if quality of life improves, I think that's going to help generate some extra growth around here that we are searching for.
And Tyler?
I think the big problem in our district, like Lambert said, is the bridges. We got some roadways that are actually caved in, that are closed, that we can't travel on, or they're one lane, brought down to one lane because of that. And for over the community, I mean, it's everything with the quality of life. We need more things for the kids to do, and bring more families to raise their kids here in Franklin County.
Kathy, would you direct your question to Marshall, please?
Sure. Tonight I'm asking questions that have been submitted by the public. And the one I'm getting ready to ask has been asked in previous forums, but I think it's important because it's something that the public is asking about. Right now there's a resolution that is circulating that has been passed by the Kentucky Capital Development Corporation, the Chamber of Commerce, and downtown Frankfort to lift restrictions on Sunday alcohol sales. What do you think about lifting restrictions?
Let's see. That's always a sensitive issue. So I think that personally, I don't have a problem with it. I would probably support it because I think there's some positives as far as for the economic reasons primarily. But I do think that if it's something that looks like, we're at a 50-50 split there, maybe we should look at putting it onto the voter ballot later in November over the next feasible time, let the general public vote on it.
Tyler?
Me personally, I think if the person wants to buy alcohol, they're going to take it to other surrounding counties that allow the sale of alcohol on Sundays. So why should we turn away that revenue that could be brought here into Franklin County? So I'd be for having alcohol sales on Sunday.
And Lambert?
Being someone that's never drank, but I've never liked the blue laws either. And Tyler's right. People are going to Midway and getting it, and wherever they need to, and it's a drain on our society and on our infrastructure. And I'm coming around to be for it.
Thank you. Steve, would you ask your question of Tyler, please?
Tyler, is the Franklin County Sheriff's Department adequately staffed and compensated, in your opinion? And if not, what would you do to change that?
I think the Sheriff's Department is adequately staffed. They've got a large number of deputies that they have on there, and also the people inside the work inside of it. I think the budget for the Sheriff's Department is adequate, and I think they could be well on their way with what they have to work with.
Lambert?
I think it is. We've built the sheriff's office a state-of-the-art station, and they've got accreditation because of the work of fiscal court, and they're pretty well staffed. I mean, they could always use more officers, but the money's just not there, and they do well with the money they have.
And Marshall?
I haven't done a whole lot of research with it, to be honest, but I think on the surface, it looks like they probably have enough staff there. I think the budget looks like it's been increasing every year. I think that probably needs to take a closer look at how things are being handled. I noticed that there was the audits were out. I haven't had a chance to really look at it to see the justification for some of it. So other than that, I think I've run out of time. But I do think that they're adequately staffed, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kathy, would you direct your question to Lambert, please?
Yes. What do you believe to be the top 3 most pressing concerns to the business community in Franklin County, and how would you address those concerns?
Well, our infrastructure, our sewers, I've been pushing, trying to get sewers out 60 towards Graffinsburg, and I'm also behind getting sewers out towards Anderson County to the people that need it so bad out there. But it's also going to bring industry. If we get those sewers, it's going to highly expand our industry in this county.
Thank you, Marshall.
Okay. I'd say, could you repeat that question? real
Sure.
quick?
What do you believe to be the top 3 most pressing concerns to the business community in Franklin County, and how would you address those concerns?
I don't know if we have enough time to fully address it, because there's probably a whole lot of things. I'd say Lambert's probably right. I think that our infrastructure, we need to kind of help promote and market. Frankfurt's very favorable, and I'm probably not going to hit all 3 of them, but we've got a lot of linkages that are really good with the interstate coming through and being able to go to Anderson County in the southern parts and being able to network into Lexington, Louisville. So I think we need to kind of help market what we have available. And to do that, we probably do need to extend the sewers out in the southern part of the county towards Lawrenceburg, because it is closer to the interstate, and that seems to be where all the primary growth is going. When I'd say we need to try to reduce our taxes if possible, because that's always a thorn, looking maybe at the occupational taxes and so forth. Maybe our rates could be lowered a little bit. Maybe that could kind of help attract. And I'm out of time, so thank you.
Good job.
Tyler, you're up.
I think like Lambert said, with the infrastructure, I think that would really help if we could upgrade those things with sewers, the road, and bridges. Another thing would be to clean up our community and help the appearance of our community, to draw people in to spend money here in the community at these businesses, whether it be small businesses or industrial businesses. But I think that would be a couple things that we need to address on.
Thank you, Steve. It's your turn. If you would, please direct a question to Marshall.
Name a local person, living or deceased, who has inspired you with their public service and whose example you would emulate if you were elected, and why?
Wasn't prepared for that kind of question, but I'd say,
You can name it.
yeah, Lambert's always good. I'd say, well, we got Ticker back there too, so I'd say I'd go with my grandfather then. He was county judge here previously, and I'd say, I never got to really know him, but I'd say from what I hear about him, I'd say he'd be who I would think would represent that.
Tyler?
I've got, as I was a member of Franklin County High School, I've got several teachers that would be my inspiration on about the community and what they've done for this community.
And Lambert?
Well, I would say my dad, because he's my foundation, he was. But I'm going to go with Ira Fannin, because when I came on the court, he mentored me, and we become very close, and everything I do on the court is to make Ira proud.
I think we're back to you, Kathy. Could you direct your next question to Tyler, please?
Sure. Why do you want to be a magistrate, and what makes your approach different from your opponents in how you would serve your district?
I want to be a magistrate because I've got kids that are growing up here. I got a family here. I want to be involved on what goes on in the community to better the community for my children. I think that we need to think ahead for what needs to be done to better the future of this community.
Mr. Moore?
I've got unfinished work, and I want to get it done. I've replaced 12 or 14 bridges. We've got bridges now that are dire need, and got road projects that I'm working on that are very important to me and to this district, and that's about it. There's a lot of reasons, but that's all the time I'm seeing.
And Mr. Flynn.
Could you repeat that one more time? I feel like I'm a
can.
deer in the headlights right here.
Why do you want to be a magistrate, and what makes your approach different from your opponents, and how you would serve your district?
I'd say I want to be a magistrate for Franklin County because I'm a lifelong resident here. I'm raising 7 children. I want to be a good role model for them. I like being involved. I miss being involved. I think that my focus and dedication and my work ethic would probably separate me from all the other candidates.
And Steve, would you direct your next question to Lambert Moore, please?
Should state law be changed to allow fiscal court to make direct appointments to the Frankfurt Plant Board? Why or why not?
Well, they absolutely should, because so many people in the county are customers of Frankfurt Plant Board. But there's a double-edged sword there, because there's a lot of Woodford County residents are too. But even still, I think Franklin County should have at least one appointment, probably 2 on that board.
Marshall Flynn?
I'll agree with Lambert. The Plant Board has encroached out into the county areas. They're serving the majority of the county in that capacity. So it's kind of like, a bank or a hospital, going into another community. If they go there, they're going to set up a local board of directors of some type. So I kind of take that same rationale to say, yeah, why not put 1 or 2 county representatives on there to kind of have a voice.
And Tyler?
I think we definitely need a representative on the plant board. Me personally, as being a customer of the plant board, and I feel like I have no say in there. I think we need a voice for the people of the community, because it's not about what's better for Frankfurt Plant Board, it's about what is better for Franklin County.
Thank you. Kathy, do you have a good question to ask Marshall Flynn?
Sure. What would you consider your greatest achievement, and how did that experience prepare you for the role of magistrate?
I've got so many of them. I'd say, I guess, being a father and a role model. 7 kids, they go from 6 to 16, and just working with them every day is very rewarding outside of anything else.
Tyler?
Can you repeat that, please?
What would you consider your greatest achievement, and how did that experience prepare you for the role of magistrate?
My greatest experience would be my family. It's helped me out a lot. It's helped me look at the county as a whole different perspective of not just what I need for me now, but it's for the future for my children.
And Lambert?
I would also say my family, not just my wife and kids, but my 12 brothers and sisters, my mom and dad, and growing up with that many, a big family, we learned what rough was, and it's just a humbling experience to be in a family like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Steve, do you have a good question you can direct to Mr. Grimes, please?
Tyler, if the decision were yours alone, how would the land left vacant by demolition of the Frankfurt Convention Center be redeveloped?
I think we need something similar to the Civic Center. It may not be that large a scale, but I think it also needs to be a multi-purpose center, but it also needs to have store frontage on there so we can gain revenue and bring people into the downtown community.
Lambert?
Well, I don't see the money coming in for a civic center type thing. It's just, there's no way that the city and county could afford that without federal and state help. Be great to have it, but, and that's why I was the deciding vote to hire City Visions to do a study and tell us what would be best and work in that situation in that area. And looking forward to digging into that and getting the right stuff in here.
Marshall?
Okay. I don't think we really have a whole lot of time to really expand on that, but I think Lambert hit the nail on the head. If the money's right, of course, it's kind of a no-brainer for the community to have that civic center replaced or alternative use. And it seems like everybody's on board with trying to do a mixed-use development of some type. Everybody wants more residences down there, more businesses. So I would think maybe look at dividing it if it was entirely up to me, and I would allocate, half of it for private development, maybe tract it off in 2 or 3 tracts and see, what private developer might be able to develop down there. Then the other half, while we're still looking at replacing that, then if the money's not right, then we'll just carry over if everything's
Dave,
beneficial.
can I follow up? Yeah. Mr. Moore was very specific about not supporting local funds to build a new convention center. I'd be interested in hearing from Mr. Grimes and Mr. Flynn about use of local money, local taxpayer money to build a new convention center or similar facility.
Goes.
Yeah.
As far as using the local money?
Yes.
Okay.
Local taxpayer money.
Well, we're still at the valuation phase of this, so it's kind of early to tell. I don't know how much commitment. It's also kind of difficult to figure out how much interest the city will have, how much interest the county will have. Until we get further along in this process, I mean, it's really difficult to see what we've got available. I think we really need a whole lot more time to really get into it for me to give a more in-depth answer. But
Mr. Grimes, would you like a shot at that one?
Yeah, I don't think there's probably any way that the city or county by themselves could afford it. I mean, if we could get some money from the federal or the state, then that would be possible. But if not, then I think we need to look at private developers to develop that land.
And Lambert, would you like to get a last word on that?
I would. The new state office building down there is going to have 1,500 people working in it. The old tower only had 700 and some. They're going to need a place where they can walk and eat lunch. The way it was back when in the tower's heyday, they had Morrison's cafeteria there. They could just go right down there and eat, not waste fuel going out places, and keep it downtown. In the 6th district, I might mention. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other question that's just really so compelling that you need to ask it, guys? Otherwise, I'm going to go to closing statements.
Okay. You good?
I'll sneak in one more if we got
Okay,
time.
one more question.
Is
And
fiscal
who
court
did we leave off
currently...
with? Let me look at this minute. I'm sorry. Let's
Marshall first?
Let's start with Marshall, I think.
In your view, is fiscal court currently transparent enough? And if not, what steps would you take to make it more transparent?
I think fiscal court is as transparent as they can be. I would like to see more technology probably implemented, because I look at some other community websites and they've got meetings and everything, videos, everything on board. So I would like to look for a technology upgrade to kind of help carry over just everything that comes up, so it is transparent, even though you can watch the stuff through other, YouTube and so forth. But I think we're lagging behind in some areas, and I really think the technology aspect will help mapping between our planning and zoning departments and utility companies and across the board. The county clerk's struggling with trying to look at redistricting possibly in 2020, and that's going to help, the mapping program out with him as well. We've got some discrepancies that are there that need to get corrected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler, you're up.
Repeat that for me, please.
Is fiscal court currently transparent enough in your view? And if not, what steps would you take to make it more transparent?
I think they're pretty transparent, but I think there could be more communication with the people in the community. I don't think everybody knows what exactly is going on down there, what's being voted on, and when it's being voted on. So I think we could improve our communication with other people.
Lambert, you're up.
I think fiscal court's come a long way in the last several years. We've got cameras in our work session, cameras in our voting session. We're working now towards letting the public have access to our GIS mapping, which would be huge, and people being able to see what's really going on out there, and I think we're very transparent.
Thank you. Candace, let's go ahead and transition to our closing statements. We began our opening statements to Tyler, so Marshall, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make your closing statement first. As by my count, you've not used your wild card, so you can utilize up to 1 minute 30 seconds. You're on.
Okay. This is an opportunity for our whole community to probably, as many candidates that are running, to actually have a really strong voice in transitioning or changing the makeup of our local government. I feel like I'm the most focused and driven and the most effective candidate for the magistrate of the 6th District to meet the needs of our community. And I want to make Frankfort a better place to live and grow. I want to improve our quality of life. There's many long-term issues that I think that need to be addressed, from pensions that are arising that we're going to have to deal with, sewers. We've got Humane Society. We've got, opioid and social substance abuse epidemics that we probably also need to address as well. The convention center is another big one, but I think we need to take this as a proactive approach than a reactive. If you want a magistrate that's always going to look at ways to improve our infrastructure, vote for me. If you want to work towards a common vision, vote for me. If you want a magistrate that's not in the back pocket of a local organization, vote for me. If you want a magistrate that's going to return your phone calls and meet with you, vote for me. I humbly ask for your vote on May 22nd.
Lambert Moore, you have 1 minute 30 seconds, please.
I usually don't talk that long.
You don't need to use it all, sir.
I know I'm the best candidate because I've been there, I've done that. I know the issues, I know the solutions. I've got the contacts in the state, the city, and the county to get things done. And I'm always there for the citizens anytime they need me. They've never had any trouble with me answering my calls and calling them back. Even people from other districts call me constantly about issues in their districts, and sometimes I don't like to jump over the fence and do somebody else's work because they get aggravated about it, but I'll always call them and help them take care of a situation. We've got a great fiscal court right now, and I'm the senior member on there, and I've pulled that court together and helped make it what it is today. We've got a great judge, and I want to stay there and see this next court do great things also.
Tyler Grimes, you have the last word.
Well, like we said, my name is Tyler Grimes. I'm running for the 6th District Magistrate. If you want a new voice for this fiscal court, somebody with a new vision and a fresh start, I ask for your vote on May 22nd. If anybody has any questions, they can reach me on my dedicated phone number for my campaign, and will also be my dedicated number to reach me on if elected at 395-3877, or they can find me on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Again, I want to thank all of our participants tonight, all of our sponsors, Frankfort Area Chamber, Frankfort Plant Board, Frankfort State Journal, the Capitol Plaza Hotel, all the hardworking staff and people that helped put this together. Thanks so much to the candidates who spent their evening with us, and appreciate your forthrightness and your ability to articulate your truths. I know that'll help the voters make the best possible choice. Again, the vote is on May 22nd in the primary. I would strongly encourage you to go vote, and then go home and watch Cable 10 to get the live returns. So again, thanks to everybody for participating. Thanks to the audience for being here, and good evening and good night.